Alrighty. Well, I will get started. What I want to do today is really start in the opportunities section and go from there to creating a room and everything like that. I did want to let you guys know, and I'll probably repeat this afterwards. I have a guest coming next week for this training. Um, Her name is Kathy. She's the compliance coordinator in the Naperville area for like multiple market centers. So she like does compliance for 600 plus agents. So she's been working in Docusign ever since the switch, and so she's gonna do a Q&A for us next week and stuff like that. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up for that. It'll definitely be worth hopping on for that as well. So, all right. So yeah, if everyone can sign into their command, that'd be awesome. All right, are we all in command?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make you guys talk a lot. So, all right. So you should be able to see my screen here. I'm gonna walk you through everything on here, but let's go into that opportunity section. That thing that looks like a handshake. Okay. What I want to do is basically set up from the perspective of you just have something go pending or you're just working with someone and go from that. And our goal is to basically from here, instead of going straight to Docusign to start your room, that you start in here. So that means before any signatures or anything like that, the first thing you're doing is going and creating an opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and on my right-hand side, click Create Opportunity. Feel free to stop me as I go, but it'll opt to say Bloomington Market Center. I'm going to put this as that we're working with a buyer. And then for your client's name, it's going to have to be someone who's already in your contacts. So I'll just use one of my friends that are in here. And then what you're going to want to do, this is important because it's going to matter for the name of your room. That opportunity name, you're going to want to name that the address. So obviously we're just doing a test. We're just practicing right now. But when you're creating that opportunity, make sure to name it by the address, because when you go to sync this into Docusign to create a room through there, it's going to make the name automatically the name of your opportunity. And I'm sure it'd be much easier to find later if you have it as the address name. So I'm just going to, for my test, just going to use the current address I live at, right? So again, we're going from the perspective that this is, that you are just starting to work with this person, that you're just creating the opportunity to just start using the documents here. So estimated close date, I'll just put sometime in May. There. Obviously, this is someone who I already know that if this is someone that's pending, that time frame section is to let you know, hey, that's the amount of time that they're looking for to buy or sell their home. Because again, if you think of an opportunity, it's basically telling you, here's your pipeline for anything potential in the future. So it's not something I have to select. So if this is something that's going pending, obviously there'd be no time frame for you to put in there. Just going to create the budget, 150, commission rate, we'll put 3%. And then the opportunity phase, since this is someone I'm already working with, I'm just going to put that we're in negotiations here. Before I move on, is there any questions on initially creating this opportunity?
Not here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the response. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click create here. And before we go ahead, since we created this and we are actually already pending, the first thing we're going to have to look at is this details page that we're in right here, right? We're going to have to make sure that we state that this is someone that's already like, in that pending status, that's contingent or whatever like that. So here, where we're in the details page, if you know that you're working on this and this is something that's already gone pending, you're going to have to click on the general information and click on that pencil button here. And you're going to change that opportunity phase to no longer be active, but be under contract. And then I'll just put in escrow. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Awesome. And I do want to let you know that, there's a lot of different details in here in the general information of the property. And if you're like, do I need to put that information there? No, you don't need to. But if you're using command to its full effect to really track, all the information about your properties, track your income, everything like that, I would 100% recommend putting in all the details in there. I know it might seem like another spot for it, but if this is that one system that you're going to use, we talked about that during the shift call today, then you're going to want to make sure to add this stuff in here too. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to go to is this document section here. Are we all in this part here?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Then what I want you to do is click on Start a Transaction. And that's going to sign you into Docusign here. It's going to pop up for you to sign in.
Hey, Jacob.
Yep.
If I'm in under contract things, should I not hit start a transaction? Because is that going to start throwing up some weird? Because I've already got documents and everything in here.
Oh, you do. Okay.
I just follow along. Better just watch what you're doing.
Yeah. That's probably a better idea just for this portion. So,
Okay.
but you guys kind of understand that if you start from here, the room will be made for you and everything like that. I just want to point out how that is pretty important there to not start in DocuSign, but to start from here. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
I think I was doing that. I was messing things up.
And you can go into DocuSign afterwards, like Tania. So if you already, do this and then let's say a couple days later, you go back into DocuSign and you don't go through command, you just go, into DocuSign. That's fine because that apparently I don't know my password because that's already linked to them.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I clearly didn't know my password though. Okay, so this is where I was saying, like, on that top left-hand corner here, we can now see that that's the name of the address here. It's letting us, it's grabbing that that the closing date as well. And even if you go into details here, if you put in some of that information in that opportunity section here that I started with, where I showed you the details, that actually will go into here within the DocuSign as well. It'll transfer that information.
Hey, Jacob.
Yep.
In my room, I'm putting in a listing that I'll probably be putting on this weekend or next week, and it says created by you. Is that okay?
That is okay.
Okay.
It may say that sometimes. That's because I'm the administrator for the office.
Okay.
So sometimes
Got
it says that. Yep. And like, I'll probably get an email notification saying that you created a room. That's
Okay.
all. So our whole office is for some reason under the MCA account. Okay. So the document section here, we've created the room and I don't want to, I want to make sure that everyone feels good before we get here. When I'm in this document section, you have the opportunity here to add documents multiple ways. So if you already have the document on your computer, we'll go through forms in a second, through zip form, Box, Dropbox, or Google Drive. I just want to let you guys know you have multiple ways that you can go directly to add those. the one that obviously everyone's usually looking for is this Docusign forms to get our interactive forms into there. So I'm going to click on that. And I think most of you guys, because I know you were in my original training, Emily, you may be the only one, I'm not sure, that it may ask for your NERDS ID. So if you're having trouble for that, feel free to put that in the chat here, or if you need to, go ahead and email me and I can help you out with that afterwards.
Yeah, it's asking for my ID.
Okay, there should be a little button that says look up NERDS ID, and it just will ask for your email and maybe your license number or something like that. Do you see
Okay,
that
I'll
in
do
there?
some searching.
Awesome. Yep.
I don't see it. Let's see.
Yeah, because there should be, right when that pops up, a little, I think, like link that says look up NERDS ID.
Yeah, now I'm seeing just exactly what you have on the screen. So maybe
okay.
I got it through.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so what you're going to do from here is you can see our different options for forms here. The ones that you guys are mostly looking at are the B&AR forms, or even some of our Keller-Williams forms or IAR forms, or the PAR forms as well. So I'm just going to select the change form here just because it's the first one and explain a couple things with this. Click add after that. All right, so you're gonna see I've got my form in here. Nothing's filled out yet or anything like that, right? So what you're gonna do if you're thinking, all right, I just want to edit this form, I want to put the information that's already supposed to be in there. The difference here that's different from dot loop is when you're in dot loop and you're in a loop and you open a interactive form, you can not only fill out that form in there, but you can send it off for signatures all in one step, right? Here's a little different where you're opening up the form here. And you're going to see all the interactive spots that you can fill in this section. You're going to fill that out. And then once you're done filling it out, then you're going to hit save and close. So in this section here that we're going through, this is not where you're able to send off for signatures or anything like that. This is just to fill out the interactive parts of the form that makes the form fillable. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'll just change a couple things.
So at this stage, sorry, just to
Yep.
clarify,
Go
you're
ahead.
just putting in all the information. You are not putting in signatures, initials, all that stuff yet.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. So to make sure that we get this saved, just hit save and close there.
But Jacob,
Yep. Go ahead.
at this point, you can't modify anything on this form other than the interval information. For instance, if you wanted to add fields, if you wanted to do anything different to this form other than just enter the text fields that are already there, you can't do that.
That is correct. You can't do that on this section yet. Okay. So we're gonna go into what I'm gonna call like the envelope section, and this is where you're gonna able to like go in and sign and change a few things, add some boxes, stuff like that. So if you hover over this form that's already in here, you're gonna see that little spot that looks like a check mark or dot right there. You're gonna click on that so it's filled in. You're gonna see this section changes. We can copy it, move it, email it, Docusign, which is what we're gonna go to, archive, unarchive, or delete. So we wanna go and go to Docusign for this. And at this point, what it's doing is now creating a separate thing called an envelope. And this is where you're going to not only send it off for signature, but like Dennis was saying, this is where you can add fields as well, too. So You can add multiple documents as well. And then where it says add recipients to the envelope, what I've been told that's best to do is, because certain roles have to be assigned. I did get off the phone with the compliance coordinator that I was talking to today, and she was saying that she recommends everyone just to put the full name and email in there first and do it this way first, not to add people into your room, just so that way there's no confusion on any of the roles or things like that. Obviously within, just like how .loop gives different options of what they can see and do, I just need them to sign. And then I need to just put their email in there too. You can add multiple recipients. I'm just going to use one for right now there. And then because this looks like, and I'm not sure, but I'm sure some of you who have worked with relocation or whoever's been on the receiving side of Docusign, you see it come as an email, and they can actually change the email subject here to, you know, the name of the form. And then I would just say, please fill out where needed. Any questions on the initial part of this envelope section here? No? Okay, awesome. So we're going to click next afterwards. And you can see that one of the things that I want you guys to notice right away is this spot that I just filled in beforehand, that's already in there. But like as Dennis was saying, I can also add other boxes like a text box here and add things in there right now too. And just put that text. So whatever the price might be or things like that. This is where you can add signatures, initials, get the date signed, everything like that as well. And one of the things that I really like about this that you can do too, if you're looking for a signature from that person here, before sending it off, just so you know, if you spend the time having to change a few things in the document, and it takes you a good amount of time, you obviously don't want it to go to the person incorrectly and then have to redo anything. And so if you can actually, you'll see this part that says recipient preview. When you click on that, it says that, hey, you're viewing this as that person. And right when they click on the email to go and do this, all they do is they click start. They fill out this if they need to, and then they sign here, and then they would hit finish and they would be good to go. So you can see what that looks like beforehand, before you're even sending that off to them as well. Just a feature that I like, instead of worrying that there might have been something incorrect. And that was sometimes an issue that I fell into within .loop as well even. Now, if you're wondering here too, like, okay, that's great. However, I need to go back. There's some things I need to edit here. How do I save this and wait for later? If you don't want to send this right away, you can click on this go back right here. And then you can hit save and close right in your envelope details. So that way, if you're not done with that yet, or let's say you're like, I actually need another person's email address, but I haven't gotten it yet, you can go into this later. And what you can see here is that to get back to that envelope that we were at, you can go right into that envelope section. That's the draft that we were working on before. Okay, before I go back into command to show you a feature to add documents and things like that from there, what questions do you guys have so far, or what problems have you had so far that have come up using Docusign?
I haven't used it yet, so I'm
Okay.
still on you.
Yeah, mine was more, I would get into it and then I was like assigning signatures and then didn't want to send it to them yet. So I
Okay.
guess I didn't realize that you can just back out and it'll
Yep.
hold it as it is. I thought the only way to actually save it would be to send it, which now I know is not the case. Then my further questions I think
Sure.
you're probably going to get into is how it's going to go. Like, how do we, once we have all this in here, how do you know there's a closing coming so that we've submitted everything we need to you? So that's my next step.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So let me actually go into that then. Is there anyone else that has anything?
Well, I tried to make the property disclosure more user friendly. I tried to put either buttons or check marks on there so that they could just whiz through there kind of quickly. My problem was one of the recipients could see it, the other one could not. It ended up being just a disaster. But there was like maybe of all of those different choices they could have on the property selection list. This 30, 35, ended up being 35 different buttons put out. Yeah, that was just very time consuming. Is there nothing out there already similar that I could have used?
Unfortunately, what we can do is we can send that off to be submitted to have that form look exactly like that, the way you're talking about. However, I just need to know what those forms are. But since they pretty much took the forms that we had in Dotloop, and there were some things that did not get transitioned over, I'll use the word like perfectly. So example, like what you're saying right there, that you may have seen that in Dotloop where all those check marks were there and they were fillable. There were some parts that I just am not 100% aware of that haven't been filled out correctly, but we do have a way that we can change that. So I'm actually going to do a post right after this and just in our private page, just ask what are forms that you need changed within Dotloop or need added that are not currently in there. So my hope is that if you guys can help me find out some of those problems, we can get that fixed and make it a lot easier for you as well.
Well, the other forms that I used that I did mock-ups on, they weren't so time consuming and I could get workarounds for those. But that one was just took so long to test it out.
Yeah,
so
no,
that
I
would be
totally understand. Yeah. So I'll, like I said, I'll put that post out right after this. So that way we can get working on that for everyone.
great.
Awesome. Anything else I can hit on within Docusign?
My wheel is spinning now, but I can't find the disclosures in there. Where is it?
In the forms?
Yes. Wow, now I'm in a room that I didn't even know I had. Here.
It may be under IAR as well. I don't know if you checked through that.
Okay.
I don't know why it's coming up like this. I'm not sure why there's nothing showing up right there. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You can go forward. I'll
Yeah,
dig
let me
for
know if
it.
that's still, and if you can't find that, let me know because
Okay.
we can definitely get that over to them. So,
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to Docusign, or I'm sorry, go back to command into our opportunity that we're in, right? So let's say you have everything in there that you need to submit for compliance check, and that you just need to upload everything in here, right? So this is kind of what Corey was talking about is you're in the under contract part or even closed or wherever, or the list, if this is a listing, you're under instead of the same consultation, this would say listed, and you need to put your documents into here, okay? So what you need to do is I'm just going to click on purchase agreement. Obviously that's not what I have in there. I'm going to click add file, and then what it's going to do is you have a couple options. You can manually upload that. you can click on Docusign or on custom folders as well. So I'm going to click on Docusign. Then I'm going to type in that address I was working on. Let me make sure I actually spell it right. Oh, there it is, my bad. And then you see that form that we are working in right away, that B&AR form. You just hit assign right there. And then there's the form that we have in there too. So the forms that you're looking for, the reason why this becomes, in my opinion, a little easier to use and it's nice for when it comes to compliance purposes is if you're housing all your documents within this room that we linked here, all you have to do is go to that add file, Docusign, and you can start looking and seeing what are, the documents you already have in that folder. Does that clear that up at all, Corey?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then I can ask you at the end, but I just realized that I have a closing on Friday that I don't think I have a earnest check from you or I've gotten anything. I'm wondering what I've done wrong. So
Yeah. So let me clear that up too.
later I'm mad if you want me to do it.
No, it's
You
okay.
screwed it up, Corey.
It's not shock to me, but
What you guys will see is there's going to be a section here, and I have yet to move us over to this because there's still a couple of glitches. But you'll see this commissions tab right here.
yeah.
That's what we are using, or a lot of offices have gone to. Instead of green sheets, they're using that commissions tab to submit for your closing. So that's, just like a green sheet, that's how we know when the closing is coming up, things like that. Now, I have seen a couple glitches already on that, and just because the way command was rolled out and things like that, I just have chose not to. I've only had a couple people testing things out for me. So Jenny Sperry, Donna was helping me out, and Jesse have been really the only ones messing in there right now, just because I know that there's going to be a lot of questions right off the bat. So I'm just prepping for all the issues that are already wrong with it. So Corey, probably the best option right now would be, do you know how to go in and create a green sheet?
Like old school?
Like old school?
Yes.
Okay.
I would have thought, I guess Donna didn't, because everything's uploaded in this already.
Okay.
So I'm confused on where it's at. It's my Hayworth listing that closes on Friday. So
And I can check in with you right after this as well to make sure
okay,
and
I'll
see what's
just
going
call
on.
you right after this and I'll double check on some stuff.
That sounds good. But yeah, this is mostly what I wanted to go through today with you guys, was just go through and a short introduction. I know that we've gone through this already, how this links well with opportunities, to just really encourage you to get into the opportunity as soon as possible. And really the way to, kind of force yourself to do that is, hey, I don't start my room until this opportunity is created. So that's just what I would suggest, because it does get very confusing if you create a room and an opportunity, or like you create a room and you created an opportunity at the same time, because now they are two separate things. So I would just start, if something goes under contract, start and create an opportunity right away. That's your first task, and then create the room from there.
But then that notifies you that stuff's going on with this, correct?
That's correct. And then that, yep.
Yeah, I don't see a green sheet for this one for me.
Okay.
But I'm confused as to why I'm confused while Donna was on here why it ended up in Docusign but not in there, if that's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today on our Docusign training. Like I said, next week I'm having a guest come, and really I know that if you guys are able to, please try to create an opportunity, create a room through here. So that way, if there are any questions, see if there are forms missing, anything like that, because my hope is that, we have a really good Q&A session next time as well. And I am going to be just continuing to have these DocuSign trainings. So as many people as can hop in here at a time, it'd be great. So that way we can address any issues or problems that are that we're having. Any other questions though from you guys?
Nope. I'll call you after this.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah,
problem.
thank you. I think the more we get into it and
Yeah.
practice in it, make mistakes, fix them, blood pressure goes up and down a few times.
Yeah. And again, I feel obligated to say this, and the compliance coordinator said it to me on the phone earlier. I understand where you guys come from with, I heard Dawn say it earlier on the shift call of, hey, I'm going to continue to use dot loop no matter what. And, I respect that. That's the great thing, is you can use whatever system you want. The great thing about here, I like the fact that it links straight to your room from an opportunity, in my opinion. Especially that we're eventually going to be moving this commissions tab is going to how we are going to be doing green sheets. So I think it's just great. Like it includes everything. And I don't know, I just would recommend, obviously, if you already got a system that they're trying to put you in, might as well try to use it and see if it, works for you guys in your business.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, if you don't have any questions, I will let you guys go. I'll also post this training onto our YouTube page and on the Facebook group as well. So if you want to look and review anything that we went over, it will be there for you.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
Jacob, for your time
Of
and
course.
patience.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.